Welcome to San Remo in Italy and welcome on board NAMI, an Azimut 86S that's available for sale. Now this is not a long-range yacht. It's not a yacht designed to go out into heavy seas. It's a yacht designed and built for fun, and it delivers fun in absolute bucket loads, starting with this area here, which is a swim platform that actually lowers into the sea, allowing this door to open. And inside there's a Williams 325 tender and a jet ski that just slide out into the ocean so that you, your friends, your family can come out and enjoy time on the water. That's the purpose of this yacht. Now, Azimut, of course, are very stylish. They have a very elegant and a very distinctive profile with those shark's fin shapes all over them. But a lot of that styling is also quite practical. I'll give you an example. You see how this part of the hull here flares backwards, and again it's another one of those shark's fin shapes. But have a look at the effect that this has. Because up here on what is a truly huge aft deck, having that flare outwards gives far more space to that enormous sunbathing area here at the aft section, so big actually that they can also fit seating at the forward end for this dining table, which is easily big enough for 8 people if you add an extra seat just here. There's certainly the space is there for it. And in fact, we'll soon see that this is a 4-cabin, 8-guest yacht. We'll be looking at the accommodations in a few moments, but first of all, as you can see, there's also a little area here for seating, enjoying a few drinks. The owner's made a very good addition of this canvas sun awning here, and as much as people enjoy the sun, there is also a moment when you want to sit and enjoy your lobster risotto and your Chardonnay, and you don't particularly want the sun to be beating down upon you. So that's welcome protection from the sun. It's also very easy to put up and very easy to take down again. This unit here houses a barbecue area. You've got ice maker, refrigeration, so really everything that you need to be able to enjoy your time on the water on the aft deck. And if you really want to get away from everybody else and enjoy some sunbathing, take a look at this. At the bow, we have an enormous sunbed here too, so it offers some privacy for your guests or for yourself if you just want to get away from everybody else and enjoy lying out in the sunshine, appreciating the surroundings that you're in. Let's have a look inside the yacht. And I have to admit that this morning I took a look at some YouTube videos of the Azimut 86S so that I could get focused on the job at hand today. So when I got on board this particular model, I was very pleasantly surprised with this interior, which is far lighter and airier than any of the other models that I saw. Has this beautiful, clean, limed oak, I believe it is, cabinetry, which absolutely attracts the light into the area. Lovely seating areas. Underneath here we have a television set that lifts and lowers, but possibly the most interesting feature in this part of the boat is that this is one of the biggest sliding sunroofs that I've ever seen on a boat of this size. It actually opens completely up. And I would well imagine that during the day, on a normal summer's day, you probably wouldn't have it open because you've got the air conditioning on inside here. But at the same time, I can imagine that at night when the temperature lowers a little bit and you've got a beautiful starry night and a full moon, it must be an absolute delight to open this up, enjoy your surroundings and enjoy the fresh air. Let's take a look at the accommodation, which is through here. So just a few steps down to the accommodation area, which is to the starboard side of the helm, and immediately we find a door here, which leads to a day head. But it also serves for this cabin here, which is a really lovely twin cabin. Same head becomes the ensuite for this twin cabin here. This It's not the only twin. I mentioned earlier that there's 4 staterooms on this yacht. The other twin stateroom is on this side, and as you can see, it really does have everything that you'd need to be able to enjoy quite a few days and nights on board. You've got a decent sized hanging locker here, good wardrobe, very nice ensuite. Obviously in this cabin, it's dedicated to this cabin. Good sized shower, beautifully appointed. Let's take a look at the VIP stateroom. Now the VIP stateroom is quite surprising. Actually, Slava, who's on the other side of the camera, rightly pointed out that a lot of the other yachts that we've been on have a bulkhead more or less here, which makes the cabin area a little bit tight. Somehow Azimut have designed it so that this area is all free, so you can easily put a stool there, a little seat to be able to use this desk area here, maybe plug your computer in. You've got a double full-length wardrobe here. Again, a really nicely appointed bathroom that's en suite. A good sized television set. The captain was saying that actually on this yacht, people haven't used the televisions that much at all because they enjoy being out on the water, but it's good to know that you do have this here in case you want to take an early night and fall asleep watching the latest episode of Breaking Bad or Dexter or whatever takes your fancy. Moving aft, we have the master stateroom, and this is a real delight. It's full beam. You will have noticed from the outside of the yacht the checkered pattern in the hull. That's not just the design feature, but also makes these beautiful windows which let the light flood in here. And whilst on this side of the yacht we have this little table here, which can be a beauty table or a little office area, over on this side, look how attractive this is. It must be fantastic to be able to get up in the morning and enjoy your first coffee of the day sitting here with natural light flooding in. If you want to read a book, a newspaper, this becomes the ideal place to do it. It really is a very, very comfortable solution. What I particularly liked though is the fact that they've tucked the ensuite bathroom away behind here. And again, we have a really large shower room. We have a his and hers sinks, nice big mirror. But what about wardrobe space? I have to admit that when I was looking around here, I could only see these closets here, which are great, they're very spacious, but I thought, what about if somebody has a full-length evening dress? You know how irritating that is when you don't have anywhere to put your full-length evening dress. Well, actually, the full-length wardrobe is hidden away behind this mirror. So you really do have space for all of your clothes, all of your accessories to be able to enjoy your time on the yacht. What about the technical details though? What about the range? What about the performance? Well, to start talking about that, let's take a look at the bridge. And the helm station, as one would expect from this illustrious Italian designer, is somewhat of a work of art itself, but at the same time, everything is very practical. Everything's very accessible, from your thruster units here, your engine controls, your GPS, your closed circuit television camera, so that you can see what's going on around in different areas of the yacht. And I particularly like the fact that they have 3 seats here. I mean, ideally you would run this yacht with a crew of 3, and it's great that you can have seats for each one of them. And of course, if yourself as the owner or one of your guests wants to come up here and enjoy the view as well, they're more than welcome to do that. To talk more about the performance though, let's have a look not just at the galley, but also at the engine room. So this is really the working area of the yacht. As you can see, we have a reasonable sized galley actually that's well equipped with a Miele hob. You've got the oven, the microwave, you've got plenty of work surface here. This was a nice surprise as well, a good sized fridge and freezer as well. Of course, with a yacht like this, you're never too far from the shore, so you can always resupply, but it's good to have that extra storage space for your cold goods that you've got on board. Over to the side, you've got the crew accommodation, where there are 2 cabins with 2 bunks in each cabin. I mentioned earlier that you can run the yacht with 3, you can, but if you decide to use this yacht for charter, it's really better to have 4, so you'll be using all of that crew accommodation. They share a central head. Of course, the 4th person in charter would probably be doing a lot of the cooking, because charter guests do expect to be able to eat on board an awful lot, and so they'd be using this crew area and the galley quite a lot. And then behind me here, we have the engine room that I know that so many of you are particularly interested in. And in the case of this yacht, it really is interesting. You have 2 2000 series MTU engines. Now that produces 4,000 horsepower. And the 4,000 horsepower goes to Arneson drives. For those of you that aren't aware, Arneson drives are what's called surface piercing propulsion. That means that you've got propellers that instead of pointing down, they point directly to the back of the yacht, and they act as the rudders as well as they turn to direct the yacht in the direction that you want to go. Because they're surface piercing, they also produce that huge rooster tail of water that you see on these sort of yachts when they're going at some speed. It's one of the things that makes this such a fun yacht to have. You can go out, you can enjoy the speed, you can enjoy those tight turns. The yacht actually with this propulsion package will do in excess of 40 knots. So realistically, nobody goes at speeds of excess of 40 knots all day long, partly because of the fuel consumption, but also because it does get quite uncomfortable, and you and your guests want to be able to get where you're going with some level of comfort. So the captain was telling me that the comfortable cruising speed of the yacht, which is a speed where everybody feels quite relaxed and they're not being thrown about on board, is 25, 26 knots. And at that speed, the yacht is consuming about 400 to 500 litres an hour, depending on the sea state. Now, what does that mean? Well, realistically, it means that you can cruise at that speed for about 10 hours. In practical terms, that will take you from Sardinia to Monaco quite easily without having to worry about it. So that's the main details of this particular yacht. She's for sale. In my opinion, this represents an amazing opportunity to be able to get out on the water with your friends and your family on a yacht that's been well tried and tested and is a very, very popular model. The person that you need to talk to for more details is actually my friend and my colleague Sebastian Clavet, who's somewhat of an expert on this kind of yacht. He'd be very happy to hear from you if you need more details.